Here's the big challenge of life. You can have more than you've got because you can become more than you are. That's the challenge. And of course, the other side of the coin reads, unless you change how you are, you'll always have what you got. I have found in my experience that income does not far exceed personal development. Now, sometimes income takes a lucky jump, but sure enough, unless you grow out where it is, it'll usually come back where you are. Life has strange ways. If somebody hands you $1 million, best you become a millionaire quickly, so you get to keep the money. Otherwise, sure enough, it'll disappear. Somebody once said, if you took all the money in the world, divided it up equally among everybody, it would soon all be back in the same pockets. Incredible. Success is something you attract, not something you pursue. Success is looking for a good place to stay. So instead of going after it, you work on yourself. Personal development. See, the major question to ask on the job is not what are you getting? The major question to ask on the job is what are you becoming? See, the big question is not what am I getting paid here? The big question is what am I becoming here? Because true happiness is not contained in what you get. Happiness is contained in what you become. Of all the assignments Mr. Schoaf gave me at age 25, this was probably the most difficult. In fact, I'm still working on this one. I think it's an unending challenge to see what you can become. And it's good to study the basics. And I call these basics primarily because they come from the Bible. Now, I'm not a theologian or a minister, and that'll be apparent. But Mr. Schoaf taught me that the Bible was a good textbook for ideas and stories and success equations, how to live the better life. I found out that was true. He also taught me that the Bible is as practical as it is spiritual, and I found out that's true. If you look at your bank account and your income and you're not happy, there are several places in the Bible to check to see what the heck's wrong, so you can make the changes. Mr. Schoaf taught me how to set goals. What a favor that was. One morning at breakfast, shortly after I met him, he said, Jim, let me see your current list of goals, and let's go over them and talk about them. He said, maybe that's the best way I can help you get a better direction started. And I said, I don't have a list. He said, well, is it out in the car or home somewhere? I said, no, sir. I don't have a list anywhere. He said, well, young man, that's where we got to start. He said, I can tell you right now, if you don't have a list of your goals with you, he said, I can guess your bank balance within a few $100s. Which he did. And that got my attention. I said, you mean my bank balance would change if I had a list of goals? He said, drastically. That day I became a willing student how to set goals. And sure enough, learning how to set goals changed my life. And I often wondered why no one had ever taught me how to set goals up until age 25. I went to high school, but if they offered it, I missed it. I went to college for a year, never heard it. Right? How to set goals. So here I am, age 25, married, my family starting, I've been to college, I'm working, and I still don't know how to set goals. But fortunately, when I was 25, I met the man who taught me how, and it revolutionized my whole life. Economically, socially, personally, it's incredible. Okay, life is part negative, so we got to talk about the negative. Diseases of attitude. There's a lot of things that can wreck your chances to do well. We live in a rather dangerous world, so you got to be not only wise, you got to be careful. Now, attitude diseases are just as bad as physical diseases, right? High blood pressure, heart trouble. I mean, a lot of things will ace your chances to do well. So you've got to be careful. And attitude diseases are deadly. I mean, they'll destroy all the good things you start. Human beings are emotional creatures. And emotions are powerful for life change. Now, of course, emotions are so powerful they can go either way on you. Emotions can either build or destroy. So you really have to employ emotions properly. We call civilization the intelligent management of human emotions. If you can intelligently apply your emotions in the right direction, no telling what can happen. Could turn your life around one day would be sufficient.
Become the best listener in the world. There's a conversation going on right now in the world, and it's a scary conversation. War, terrorism, eco-destruction, extinction of species. poison in our food chain, climate change. That's part of the conversation. But there's also another story alongside with that. Are we going to allow extinction, the sixth extinction, to take place? Or can we together create a story for a more peaceful, just, sustainable, healthier, and joyful world? Because as Mahatma Gandhi said, if we can't be the change that we want to see in the world, then we'll end up being angry, active, angry peace advocates, peace activists who are angry, and that's a contradiction in itself. So listen to the zeitgeist of the moment. Create a vision for yourself. Get together with people who want to share your vision. Bond with them emotionally. Complement their strengths with your strengths. There's nothing that cannot be accomplished when we share vision together, when we bond emotionally, when we complement each other's strengths. And I know my son is sitting there in the audience, and he's got a series called Religion of Sport. I'll tell you, any sport team that wins has those characteristics: shared vision, emotional bonding, and complementing strengths. We have to do that together. It is your journey now that is going to help us go in that direction. Even more important, be authentic, have integrity, be responsible for your health and the health and joy of others. Recognize that the most valuable things in life don't come with degrees, they don't come with credentials. The most valuable things in life come with your ability to create relationship, your ability to nurture love, your ability to have empathy and compassion and equanimity and joy, your desire to evolve in the direction of truth, goodness, harmony, beauty, peace, and joy. Without that, it is a futile experience. Academia is great because it brings us knowledge, but unless you self-reflect, unless you ask yourself, who am I? What do I want? What is my purpose? What am I grateful for? What kind of world do I want to live in? What kind of world do I want future generations to live in? What am I doing to manifest that dream? Does my daily activity in some way reflect the dream that I have? If we don't ask ourselves those questions, then our life will not have been fruitful. Reflecting back now, 50 years ago or more, I graduated, and it seems to have gone by like a dream. The German philosopher Wittgenstein said, "We are asleep, our life is a dream." We are asleep, our life is a dream, but once in a while, we wake up enough to know that we're dreaming. So what do we wake up to? We wake up to the awareness in which all experience happens. This is an experience right now. But the first part of this evening is already over. It's a dream. 5 minutes ago is already over. It's a dream. A minute ago is already over. By the time I get to the end of my sentence, the first part is over. You can't grasp the past, you can't grasp the future, and the present is over as soon as it is born. So we must wake up. Wake up to the presence in which this is all happening. Experience is in time, but the awareness in which experience happens is not in time. So I'd just like you to try something right now. As you're listening to me right now, just turn your attention to that which is having this experience. Be aware of that in which this experience is happening. That awareness is the only real thing about you. Everything else arises and subsides in every moment of time. Hold on to that. Hold on to the presence in which experience happens. And recognize that experience is in time, but you, that which has the experience, is not in time. The same awareness when you were a baby, the same awareness when you were a teenager, now, and because it's not in time, we are told by the great luminaries of all time, the sages of the Upanishads, that this awareness that you are is not subject to birth or death. Lord Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita says, water cannot wet it, wind cannot dry it, weapons cannot shatter it, fire cannot burn it. You are that. All this is that, and that alone is. So without that self-awareness, life could go by as a dream, but to wake up to it is the goal of our life. Waking up to presence, waking up to spirit, waking up to our soul cannot be done through a system of thought, be it religion or philosophy or theology or science. Because reality is not a system of thought. Reality is that which gives rise to thought. And we are biological robots because we have not woken up to that in which all experience happens. But don't forget that God's language is silence and everything else is poor translation.
Is it true what you thought was absolute at the age of 12 today is not true? Yes or no? Are you sure that whatever you think is this is it right now, maybe this is it in another 3 years' time? You know that, so you know you're wrong. Yes or no? So you know anyway you're wrong, so why assert the wrong things? Well, right now we are wrong, at least let's manage it little more consciously. If you know you're wrong, you will walk carefully. This is wrong. But you think you're absolutely correct. Then you will do stupid things and you wander around the world. If you know you're not seeing properly, then you walk carefully along. If I ask you to walk through a dark room, suppose you can't control the lights and close it down, everything, pitch dark. If I ask you to walk, suddenly will you become super alert and conscious as to how you walk? But when the lights are on, you're just going unconsciously, bumping into everybody. So if you learn to walk every moment, like there are no lights clearly, you hesitate, some places you take a little bit of chance. But if you are just confident, you will blunder through life, we don't know where you will get in and what you will get trapped into. Most people are trapped into their professions, their family situations, their social situations in such a way, they all became like this. Yes, already I'm seeing, not just older people, youth have become like this. What will happen to me at the end of my life? What will happen to me at the end of my life? I already revealed the secret, you will die. But Sadhguru, if this happens, what to do? If that happens, what to do? All those things will happen. It's not that everything will happen in your life the way you like it. Things will happen in the way you don't like it. It once happened. Shankaran Pillai got fired from his job simply because he asked a question, smoking or non-smoking? How can you get fired for asking such a simple question? Smoking or non-smoking, he asked, and he got fired. Because what he was supposed to ask was cremation or burial. Many times what you do, thinking I am right, may be irrelevant to the situation in which you exist. So the most important aspect of your life is you're relevant, not right. You're just relevant. To the existing situation, you're relevant. I am right, I am right, I am right. This is confidence. You being right, nobody cares. All the idiots who think they're right, nobody wants to listen to them, nobody wants to be around them, isn't it? People who always think, I'm right, you want to be around them? No, the important thing is you're relevant to the situation in which you exist. If you have to bring relevance into your life, you must extinguish your confidence and bring clarity.